Hello everybody! So today I'm going to be looking at the music for Pokemon Legends Arceus. This is something I haven't seen many people talk about yet, but so far it looks like we have about, I'd say 3 to 4 songs I think that we saw in the trailer. We're gonna go over them and think of what they might be used for. You know, some of them might be menu music, some of them might be your overworld music, some of them might be the village music. So I want to listen to them and make some guesses on what those might be and have this discussion with you. Also, you'll notice I'm using a new format here, so let me know how you like this new format. This is kind of like my stream format, but there's going to be slight differences between this format and my streaming format now that I'm able to stream. So just let me know in the comments what you think about that. Either way, let's go ahead and get started listening to the music that we hear in the trailer. Obviously, we're going to hear their voice over the music, so just kind of ignore the voices talking and let's focus on the music tracks themselves.
This is a tale from a long, long time ago, when the Sinnoh region was still only a vast wilderness. A certain village bustled with the comings and goings of people, while in the mountains and seas, Pokémon roamed as they pleased.
Okay, I'm gonna stop it right there. So that first one that we hear is just that ambient piano music, right? And it seems obviously very Breath of the Wild inspired. I think most of the tracks are gonna be Breath of the Wild inspired, which is a good thing for sure, but they seem to be a little more melodic than Breath of the Wild, which is also a good thing because I think Breath of the Wild, while it had a really good ambiance setup, it kind of lacked a lot of, how would I say, I guess just melodies to kind of hum and sing along to, you know? So already I would say this game is doing a better job of keeping its music more engaging, I think, from second to second. I think actually the song we're about to hear is different from the one we just heard, although it could just be the same song just put in later on. But let's just focus on that piano segment we just heard. I think that piano segment is possible to be the title screen music, maybe. Either that or that's just the overworld music when you're just walking around and nothing's happening, you know? So continuing on to this next one, I don't think this next one is the overworld music, so let's listen to this one and you'll tell me what you think too. Because this is the one where the violin, I think, comes in, or the cello, one of those two. So pretty. Oh, that music track's gorgeous. I think that's my favorite so far. That's definitely not the overworld music. Absolutely not. There's no way that's going to be playing in the overworld. That seems very like it's for a given scenario, you know what I'm saying? Not like a scenario-less traversal. So I would say that that one is more likely to be the title screen music instead of the previous piano song that we heard right before this. I want to say it would be possible to be like an indoor type of music, but then it starts, later on it like ramps up, you know? So I don't think that's true either. It seems very much like a title screen song that you would hear, where it starts off slow and ambient, like with an ambiance, and then kind of lifts itself up as it goes and becomes more aggressive and engaging. So I think that's going to be the title music for Pokemon Legends Arceus. And other than that, I'm not sure what it would be used for, because it very much has different phases to it. that I can't see making sense when you're doing something else. If that makes any sense to you. Maybe it would be used if they were telling a backstory of something. That could be possible. And it can start off with that slow ambiance and then eventually evolve into that drums in the background sound that we get later on in the song. That one's probably my favorite out of the ones we've heard so far. Oh yes, the Arceus one. Here's another one. That's a good one too. I really like that one. That one's very situational. I can see that being used in a sort of obviously reveal for Arceus in the game too, actually. Not just here for the trailer. Because that one also sounds just very situational. I'm not sure where else that would be used. You know how when you don't press start on a game from the title screen, and it goes into this other segment, it might end with that. It reminds me of like Majora's Mask. Majora's Mask's opening has that really melodic sound, and then it ends with that scary sound as it shows the Skull Kid with the Majora's Mask on looking up at the moon falling down, you know? If any of you have played that, you would know what I'm talking about.
The events of this game unfold in the Sinnoh of old. In this time, too, Mount Coronet towers over the center of the region. Pokémon live freely in the wild here, but the harsh environments may be different from the Sinnoh region you remember. In this era, people have journeyed to Sinnoh from all over and founded a prosperous village in the hope of learning more about this land. As for these three Pokémon, Rowlet, Cyndaquil, and Oshawott, it seems they were brought to Sinnoh by a certain professor who encountered them while traveling around various regions. You'll set off on your adventure after receiving a first partner Pokémon of your own from this professor.
That one's either tied for my favorite or it's my second favorite. I'm not sure. I really like that one. That one gives me like this happy feeling. It was very uplifting sounding and already gives me this feeling of both nostalgia and excitement, which is really good that they captured that in that music track. I'm really happy with that one. Love to hear what that's going to be used for. That one, what could that be used for? Definitely not a title screen. Definitely not a title screen. It could possibly be the music that we hear when we're in the village, actually. I think that might be the village's theme. She was talking about the village a lot in that segment. So I want to say that that really chillax one that we just heard is what we're going to be hearing from the village we're from. And if not this village, then another settlement that we find later down the line. Because it sounded very like at home, you know? Like something you would hear when you're in a place of comfort. And I think that's why we would hear it in the village, for sure. So, we're about to get another one.
With the village as your base, you'll venture out to the different corners of the region on your quest to create Sinnoh's very first Pokédex.
This one's
Even
exciting.
in this era, wild Pokémon can be caught with Pokéballs. You can also engage in Pokémon battles alongside your Pokémon allies. Sharpen your skills for both catching and battling Pokémon and strive to complete your Pokédex.
So that one we just heard. Wow, there's more tracks than I realized. This is already, what, 4 or 5 now? I really like this one too. This one sounds like it could be the battle music if you get in a little scuffle out in the overworld. I imagine there's going to be different kinds of battle music because this one might be for more like, say, that Shinx that we ran into where it's just like a small little animal and it's not going to be a big threat, you know? Because this one definitely sounds like it wants you to feel like you're doing something, you know what I'm saying? So if it's not used for fights, maybe it's used for certain map scenarios. Think like, I don't know if Game Freak knows how to incorporate this, but say in Nier Automata, sometimes when you traverse the overworld, the music changes because you're doing something in a rush or there's like urgency to the story at that moment. It could be something like that, maybe, who knows? But if not, I think it's definitely used for battles. Alright, now it looks like we got another one.
Now for the mythical Pokemon that graces the game's title and story, Arceus. According to legend, Arceus shaped all there is in this world. But how is this Pokemon connected to your journey?
Okay, they're about to do another one. So I'm going to stop that one there. So that one's just like a really mysterious sounding music track. And, this one, I mean, obviously this one is going to be used in a scenario. I think that's very obvious. We're going to hear it when someone's telling a backstory of something, namely Arceus, or maybe a different Pokemon, who knows. But that one's definitely really going to be a scenario-driven music track. I can't see that playing in any other situation. But that one's a really good one too. There hasn't been a bad track that we've heard from this new game yet, which is pretty good. I mean, that's something Pokemon's been pretty on it with, at least since Sword and Shield. I'm not usually the biggest fan of Pokemon music, but I have certain Pokemon games that I think are amazing with their music. So say the Johto games. I think Johto's music is amazing. Almost all the tracks in Johto, even the roots, because I don't really like the roots and town themes from the original Pokemon games. That might be a hot take. Don't hate me for it. That might be a hot take, but I just personally don't like them, you know? But I thought Johto was amazing. Conversely, I thought Hoenn was okay. Sinnoh had some bangers and some non-bangers. Gen 5 had really good music, I thought. And Gen 8, you know, Sword and Shield, as much as I don't really agree with a lot of decisions made in the making of that game, their music was amazing. And one of my favorites, definitely. I think it's up there with Gen 5 and Gen 2 as my favorite Pokemon music games, game musics. But this one looks like it's going to be up there with those too. Maybe even right up there with Johto. I think Johto's my favorite, so this might be with Johto music that we're getting, because this one seems very reminiscent of like Johto style. I want to say it's because this takes place in the past and Johto had music and locations that were just very ingrained in the past as well. So maybe that's why I have that sort of connection and affinity for this, for Legends songs that we've heard so far. All right, but we're about to get another one, so let's listen to this next one come in.
The answer to this question and more await you in this exciting new action RPG adventure for the Nintendo Switch system.
That's it. Okay. That one was obviously a very exciting one. That one sounds the most Pokemon out of all the music tracks that we've heard. Sounds very Gen 8, actually, now that I think about it. But it seemed like they were just repeating a part. I don't think we got very much of whatever this music track is. There's definitely going to be more to this music track. Hang on, let's hear it one more time.
Nintendo Switch system.
So this could go with my theory of what I said earlier, when I think there might be different dynamic sort of battle themes, to where, say that earlier one we heard might be the battle theme we hear when we fight a small little Shinx, right? There might be a different one for maybe second evolution Pokemon, or just stronger Pokemon in general, and maybe even a third dynamic Pokemon fight music, you know, for like the bosses or whatever we're gonna see, you know? This one definitely sounds like a fight again, right? I think it sounds like a fight. Maybe you guys think differently. If you have any other ideas, let me know, obviously, but it definitely does sound like a fight music. Or maybe the theme of someone who ends up being, I guess not a rival, because I think they're breaking their formulas, but maybe someone who is recurring through the story, who every time they walk on has an exciting kind of presence, and that music plays for it. That would be fun too. Okay, so you guys gotta tell me what you think about this too. I want to hear your thoughts on the music, because I obviously just got to talk about mine. My favorite one was either that one that plays with like the violin or the cello or whatever that is. I just really love music like that. Or that one that I said sounds like it could be the town's music or the village's music that we're gonna hear. I think those were both really really nice songs that give a sense of excitement and nostalgia at the same time, and I really, really like that. And it goes with the themes of the game. This is obviously going to be a lore-rich, story-heavy game that we're getting, and I'm very excited for it. This is the most excited I've been for a Pokemon game in a long time, if that's not obvious already. I'm very excited for this game. So tell me your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, I want to take a moment to thank my patrons over on Patreon. They are getting great perks, such as having all of their names listed at the end of all of my videos, as well as exclusive access to content dealing with the creation of my work, such as the Super Smash Bros. Show. And if you subscribe to the highest tier on my Patreon, you will have the power to control what videos I make. So go ahead, join them in getting their perks by clicking on the link in the description or at the end of the video. And until next time, peace.